What is up, guys? KFC back here with our next Skitch attack strategy video. It's a first for the channel, but this is a Skitch that came out in TGF Rising last night. Luckily, I've been able to hide the person's name, so no issues there. But I just want to take some time to kind of go over how not to make a Skitch, and then I'll probably put out a video tomorrow kind of with a corrected version of the Skitch. So here's the plan. Here going in on the enemy number 10. Here's the base. And not to mix words, but this plan is god awful. I mean, it is miserable from start to finish. Person clearly just almost just felt like this is like a third grader who didn't do their science project and the day before just threw some worms in a cup and said, "Hey, here you go. This is my science project." This is just absolutely god awful. So let's try and take a look at what is going on here and talk a little bit about why it's a terrible plan and how it could have been better. First things first, everything's at least color coded, so that's nice. Here you see a beautiful white arrow that is supposed to represent a CC lure. Now that being said, the CC can be lured by a couple of barbarians. The CC is positioned horribly. So I don't know what's getting that lure. Is it a hog that's supposed to be going in to get it? Are you dropping a few barbarians? Are you anchoring that CC anywhere? You do not have a Archer Queen for this attack, and so I'm going to let the fact go that this is not what TGF Rising does for hero down people. Hero down people are supposed to go for 2 to 3 star attacks. As opposed to 1 to 3, and this does look like a sort of a hog variant here. You do have some Valks, so that's nice, but there's also nothing connecting to the Town Hall, and since you cannot break into that Town Hall compartment with the way the plan is drawn, it doesn't seem to be following Rising's kind of guidelines here. But that being said, going back to the lure, we don't know what's in the clan castle. It's a fresh hit. I don't know where you're dragging the CC2. I don't know if the wizards are supposed to take care of it. Right now, there are 4 orange lines that are supposed to represent your wizards. What if a dragon pops out? What if 30 archers pop out? What is it that is supposed to take out this clan castle? If it's a lava hound, that's fantastic for you, and that's probably your best case scenario. But I just don't understand what really you're doing, okay? So that's problem 1 is the CC lure. Okay, now let's look at the entry portion of the attack. It's clearly going to be a shattered portion here. You see the 2 red arrows that are supposed to represent 2 golems. So at least this arrow here is representative of what a golem is going to do. It's going to go to the cannon. Apparently this golem is attracted to dark spell factories and builders' huts. That golem is not going to go there. It's a lazy arrow. It's one that wastes my time. I don't know what you're trying to plan on doing here. I believe you're saying it's going to go to this wizard tower. So draw the arrow correctly. Don't just throw in a red arrow on a side of a map and assume that we know what it's going to do. So it's just really, really a poor drawing of an entry here. So an entry is going to go in. I see 2 red lines for the golems. I see some funnel wizards. There's some issues with the funnel. So one of the initial questions I have is if this archer tower locks onto this cannon, that's something that you should know before you give us a plan, because I want to know if we can get this lab and this army camp taken care of, because if this archer tower is not in range of this golem that's going to be sitting on this cannon, my first piece of feedback to you is going to be to bring a giant to distract this archer tower and then a few wizards to create a larger funnel. You don't want your Valks to stray. Valks are represented in the dark green here. Valks have funny pathing, and I don't want them to go kind of that far. I would like to cut it off at the army camp. Currently, you're only cutting it off at the elixir collector, and I would like to change that. Now the big issue that I have with the plan, the way that it's drawn, is that I don't see any wall breakers. I don't know how you're breaking in. I don't know what wall segment you're planning on breaking in. I assume since the barbarians and the Valks are going straight up this way, I assume you're going to be trying to break into this compartment. But since this wizard tower is indented one spot, you're going to have to be careful, because if you drop your wall breakers kind of over in this area, those wall breakers are going to go to that wizard tower, which is still fine because you still have a jump here that's going to connect you all the way to the queen. But there's no wall breakers represented in this plan. So if we go over the top 5 things that we look for in Town Hall 9 attacks, we look for clan castle kill. We look for enemy archer queen kill. We look for the entry. We look for the main troop deployment, being hogs and or loons. We look for spell placement, and we look for cleanup. So far, this attack is 0 for 3. I don't know how you're taking care of the clan castle. I don't know necessarily how you're entering this base, whether it's with wall breakers. I don't know how that enemy archer queen is going to go down because you didn't show me out the wall breakers. I don't know how the funnel is being created, so there's just a lot of different issues here that I'm looking for. So far, you're 0 for 3. So now let's go to the quote-unquote main troop deployment, which for you is going to be hogs. First thing that I don't see on this sketch is I don't know how many hogs you're taking. I see 5 blue arrows, and I have no idea. Is that 3 hogs per arrow, 4 hogs per arrow, 5 hogs per arrow? And then similar to this golem, which is attracted to dark spell factories and builders' huts, for some reason these groups of hogs are attracted to gold storages. Those hogs are not going to go there. Those hogs are either going to go on that archer tower. They'll go on that archer tower, but you're not going to thread that needle and get that air defense if that was your plan. Another thing about this plan that's a little awkward is that this blue arrow here is representing hogs, and they're going to go up and they're going to take out wizard towers and air defenses, because we all know that wizard towers and air defenses are fantastic hog defenses. That is not how you do it. You send hog, if you're going to do surgical hogs, you send hogs in on point defense to make sure that those go down. Once again, we see some hogs coming in here. Looks like, I'm not sure how many are going to go there, but there's 2 archer towers there. So if you're only dropping 3 or 4 hogs and you're expecting to get 2 archer towers, you got a big problem because that's just not going to happen. So far now you are 0 for 4 on what we look for. The main troop deployment also is lacking a little bit. Final thing, or excuse me, final 2 things. One is the spells. I have a jump spell represented right here, which is fantastic, but you have 8 more capacity worth of spells to give me. I assume you're bringing 3 more heals, but you might be bringing a rage for your kill squad for all I know. I don't know where you're dropping your heals. Or where you're sort of thinking about dropping your heals, because obviously you don't want to drop them anywhere over here, so it's probably going to be somewhere in this area for one, somewhere in this Tesla farm for another, and then somewhere over here. And this portion of the base isn't even covered at all. There's no troops dedicated to being over here. You might have some Valks stray this direction and not go to the Archer Queen, depending on how they path. So far, just a real sloppy looking attack. Pretty much nothing has been done right to this point. 0 for 5. Going into the final phase of the attack, which is cleanup. I see no cleanup wizards dropped anywhere. I don't see them represented anywhere. I don't know where you expect your hogs to finish. I assume this is going to be a sort of, in your head, a clockwise direction where all the hogs kind of clear out, kind of all these buildings going around and finishing maybe over in this direction. And so that would mean that these wizards are ultimately going to go down. So you're looking at a wizard probably somewhere over in this direction, maybe a few minions for cleanup, but once again, not represented. If I were to also try and figure out what your exact army composition was, I would not be able to figure it out. I don't know if you're bringing a clan castle golem. I don't know if you're bringing in Valks in the clan castle. Right now I see 60, 68, 72, 76, some amount of Valks, some amount of hogs. I know 76 troop capacity worth of what you're bringing, and then everything else is left up to mystery. I still don't know how the clan castle is going to go down. This is a max defense Town Hall 9. Now, it's a perfectly symmetrical max defense Town Hall 9, but max defense Town Hall 9s are no joke. They will take you through the ringer if you don't have a proper plan for them, regardless of whether it's symmetrical or not. And so right now, this is just a really bad plan. There are some small things that we could do to make this better, but the list of, if you're looking for advanced strategy tactics, I can't even get there because I can't even do the basic stuff with this plan. So for those of you in Rising who are skitching, it's great that you're at least doing it, but you need to do it at a high level, and this is low-level Bush League shit. That wastes time of people in the clan who are trying to help you get better. What I want to be able to do is I want to see a plan like this, and I want to be able to say, hey, here's an advanced strategy tactic. You know, this air sweeper is pointed up to that mortar, why don't you drop a minion at 12 o'clock, and as soon as the air sweeper becomes active, maybe you can drop a loon on this cannon, on these two cannons, and they'll take out those cannons before the air sweeper kind of retargets or something like that. I'd rather have conversations like that than conversations where nothing is